delay, but welcome to the mock trial demonstration. My name is Emily Chavis, and I'm the president of the QCC Mock Trial Association. With me are my fellow officers, Vice President Gia Chong, Senator Jamie Andrade, and Secretary Michael Rolfe. The QCC Mock Trial team has competed in the National Intercollegiate Mock Trial Tournament, sponsored by the American Mock Trial Association, in each of the past 7 years. This year, approximately 400 colleges and universities across the country participated in the tournament. In the competition, each team presents the trial of a case against teams from other schools. The teams present the trial before panels of 3 judges, consisting primarily of volunteer lawyers and judges. One judge serves as the presiding judge and presides over the trial. The other 2 judges are scoring judges who score each of the participants. Each participant is scored on a scale from 1 to 10 for each part of their performance. The individual scores are totaled, and then the team with the highest point total is the winner of that round of tournament.
The teams must be prepared to try the case from both the prosecution and defendant side. Team members work as lawyers and as witnesses. As attorneys, members of the team present opening and closing statements, conduct direct and cross-examination, and make and oppose evidentiary objections. As witnesses, team members study a detailed affidavit of facts together with documents and exhibits. They then must answer questions asked of them on direct examination and cross-examination. Strict time limits are imposed for every part of the trial. The trial presentation is not a play. None of the parts by the lawyers or by the witnesses are scripted or memorized, as is the case in play. Team members prepare for the competition by extensive practice and by becoming familiar with their respective parts, but their presentations during the actual mock trial involve thinking on their feet and extemporaneous speaking.
Across the country, all of the teams tried the same case. The case is released on August 15th, and teams start preparing shortly thereafter. The case materials that are used are very detailed and realistic. The materials include statutory law, case law, exhibits, and the detailed affidavits of each of the witnesses. Each case has more potential witnesses than are actually called in a trial. This year, the case had 9 potential witnesses, and only 6 were called in each trial. 3 on each side. Teams learn of which witnesses their opponents are calling only moments before the start of the trial.
This year, we started preparing the case, a criminal prosecution for an armed robbery, which took place in an amusement park. Early in September, when we began weekly meetings, which for the most part were 3 to 4 hour sessions on Saturday afternoons. During these preparations, members of the team studied the rules of evidence, case law, and statutory law. Much of the time was spent in practicing the various parts: opening statements, direct examination, cross-examination, and closing arguments. A great deal of time was spent in making and opposing evidentiary objections. In November, the team started its schedule of practice scrimmages against teams from other schools, including the United States Military Academy, Queens College, New York City College of Technology, Pace University, University of Southern Connecticut, and the University of New Haven.
This year, our team competed in February in the Bristol, Rhode Island Regional Tournament at Roger Williams University. In the tournament, 20 teams from 15 colleges and universities competed, including teams from Yale, Harvard, University of Maryland, Brandeis University, U.S. Coast Guard Academy, Wesleyan University, the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, and Roger Williams University.
Our school is the only community college team in the regional tournament at Roger Williams University and is believed to be one of only 4 community colleges in the national tournament among the approximate 400 colleges and universities competing in the tournament nationwide. In the regional tournament this year, QCC faced teams from American University, Wesleyan University, Brandeis University, and the United States Coast Guard Academy.
This year's case. The case this year is the State of Midlands versus Whit Bowman. The case is an armed robbery case on August 30th, 2012. A robbery occurred at Rockter World Amusement Park in Midlands. Following the robbery, a chase ensued, and former police officer and current Rockter World security guard Winston Thomas was struck by the front car of the Tunnel of Terror ride. Thomas suffered serious injuries and went into a coma, in which he remains to this day.
The robber whom Thomas was chasing through the park escaped and remains at large, his whereabouts unknown. Police, however, have arrested Whit Bowman, a park employee whom they believe took part in the commission of the crime. Bowman faces multiple charges related to the August 30th incident and related criminal activity.
Okay, without further ado, the trial of State of Midlands versus Whit Bowman will begin.
Please remove all hats. Please put aside all reading material and give your attention to the court. The Honorable Justice Elaine Thompson presiding, and the Honorable Justice Stephen Hamill, Chief Justice, presiding. You may be seated. Can I have the appearance of the prosecution, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Romer Cisneros. We're my co-counsel Michael Rose and my co-counsel Simon Chavez, and we present the State of Midlands prosecution.
Thank you for your appearances. I remind you to speak into the microphone when you make appearances in the future, or other statements. Thank you.
Yes.
Appearances for the defense, speak into the microphone, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
That's good.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Jamie Andrade. This is my co-counsel Eric Hahn, and my other co-counsel Dia Chun, and we represent the defendant Whit Bowman.
Thank you. We're going to have jury selection at this point. Bailiff, would you please pick a jury?
Yes, prospective jurors, listen to your number. If your number is called, please step up and take a seat in the jury box. Juror number 18. Juror number 1. Juror number 1. Juror number 36. Juror number 36. Last call. Juror number 43. Juror number 41. Against the law not to answer, your number is called. Juror number 15.
We're going to issue a warrant for your arrest.
Juror number 15. Juror number 32. 32. Juror number 11. Juror number 11. Juror number 20. 20. Juror number 37. Juror number 7. Juror number 2. Juror number 2. Juror number 45. Juror number 22. Juror number 29. 29. By the way, you get paid for being on jury duty. That's true. Juror number 34. 34. Juror number 39. Juror number 40. Who would like to be on the jury? There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, right over here. One more person. Young man in the yellow shirt. Okay. Now, I think, Your Honor, we have the jury seated. We're ready to swear in the jurors. Okay. Yes, proceed. Jurors, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that you will decide this case based on the evidence presented? Please say, I do. I do. And we ask the jurors to please identify themselves as you go through the row. Speak loud. Your Honors, the jury has now been seated.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're called upon for an awesome responsibility, that of deciding the fate of a person charged with a crime. Please take this matter seriously, listen attentively, and I wish you all the best in your deliberations, which will come in the future. Are we ready to start our case? Prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, present your opening statement, please. We have a time. Who's keeping the time? Okay, good. Once Sylvia gives me the sign, you can begin. Okay, proceed.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as it was stated before, I am Michael Ross, and my team and I will represent the prosecution, which is the State of Midlands. Now, I want you to visualize this. Visualize on August 30th, 2012. It's a beautiful day outside, and you decide that you want to go to Rock the World. So why not go to Rock the World? So you're on your way to Rock the World, and when you get there, you're getting on all the rides, enjoying the day with your family. It's just a beautiful day all around. It's like the perfect vacation. But then suddenly and instantly, something drastic and tragic occurred. And now you're probably wondering, what happened? Now here's what happened on August 30th. On August 30th, a robbery took place at Rock the World Park. A chase was ensued, leading this chase to the Tunnel of Terror ride, where Officer Winston Thomas, who was a friendly officer of Rock the World Park, he was only doing his job. He was struck by one of the ride cars. He got slammed into the wall, suffered some serious and severe injuries, and he is still in a coma until this very day, and he has yet to awake from that coma. Now, the man he was chasing was Cameron Poole. But look around you. Do you see Cameron Poole here today? No, Cameron Poole is not here, because he escaped and he is still at large to this very day. But that does not make the defendant, Whit Bowman, any less guilty and responsible for this incident. Now, this case is about greed, deception, and desperation. Now, prosecution side, we will call the three following witnesses. We will call Rory Shelton. Rory Shelton, he will prove the things that he saw in Rockaway Park between Whit Bowman and Cameron Poole. We will call Haley Floyd. Haley Floyd will prove and testify that he indeed witnessed the physical force used upon him by Cameron Poole, but with Whit Bowman's knife. We will also call Tyler Hartman. Tyler Hartman will prove that Whit Bowman was operating the Turn of Terror ride on that day. Now the defense will call three following witnesses as well. The defense is going to call them three following witnesses. Now we as prosecution, we have the burden of proof, and you will meet the defense today. They will tell you this. We have the burden of proof. They're absolutely right. We do have the burden of proof. But what is the burden of proof? We must prove that so all elements of this case that must be proven. We must prove that above and beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Whit Bowman, is guilty of all charges. We will prove that he is guilty of robbery in the first degree with respect to harm of physical injury to Haley Floyd. And that same charge with respect to harm of physical injury to Officer Winston Thomas. We will prove that he was guilty in acting alone or in complicity with Cameron Poole. He aided Cameron Poole by giving him the weapon, which is the knife, on that day. Now, at the end of this trial, my colleague and co-counsel, Rory Cisneros, will come before you, and he will explain to you in detail all the evidence brought before you in this case today. He will ask you to render the only verdict, finding the defendant, Whit Bowman, guilty of all charges. Now, consider all the evidence being brought forward today. Make the right decision. Find the defendant, Whit Bowman, guilty of all charges. Thank you.
Thank you. Defense, do you have an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, opposing counsel, may it please the court. The events that occurred on Rockaway World on August 30, 2012 are absolutely unforgivable, and someone must pay for these heinous crimes. But that someone is not my client sitting there, Whit Bowman, but is in fact the man who is not in the room here today, and that man is none other than Cameron Poole. Because Whit Bowman was not the one who brandished the knife on that day. She was not the one who used that knife to threaten the Parker count, Haley Floyd. And she certainly wasn't the one who led Winston Thomas, the beloved security guard of Rockaway, into an active ride known as the Tunnel of Terror, where he was struck, and to this day, he is yet to awake from that coma. Now, the prosecution will attempt to prove that Whit Bowman acted in complicity with Cameron Poole. But mind you, members of the jury, at that time, Whit Bowman was in a state of fear, panic, and shock after hearing the sound of a gunshot, the screams of terrified children, and of course, the sight of Winston Thomas chasing over her ex-coworker, Cameron Poole, the man who is not in the room here today, and the man who should be sitting there. But the prosecution bears the burden of proof, and they must prove all elements of this case above and beyond a reasonable doubt. They must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Whit Bowman brandished a knife on that day. Beyond a reasonable doubt that she acted in complicity with Cameron Poole. And so in a desperate attempt, you will hear from three witnesses from the prosecution. First, you will hear from Rory Shelton, a mascot who works at Rockaway, and you will hear that his only motivation to testify today is so that he may be promoted by his boss, J.C. Longstreet. And you will also hear the number of discrepancies which he cannot testify to the accuracy of, okay? And next you'll hear from Haley Floyd, a park account. And you will hear how Haley Floyd had the knife brandished to him by none other than Cameron Poole, who was robbed by none other than Cameron Poole. And finally, you will hear from Tyler Hartman, an ex-worker at Rock World. And you will hear how Tyler Hartman supposedly saw events that occurred in a little bathroom stall through a tiny crack. And you will hear how she cannot confirm the accuracies to the testimony in which she will testify today. And the defense will call 3 witnesses. First, you will hear from Jackie Hunter. And Jackie Hunter who works for a journalism company. You will hear how she just wants to tell members of the jury about the hideous truths that lie within Rock World, about how the rides were old and outdated, which goes to show that you cannot blame my client Whit Bowman for the things that occurred during the ride operations on that day. And next, you will hear from Charlie Kaminsky. And you will hear how Charlie Kaminsky overheard a conversation between Cameron Poole and Whit Bowman. And you will also hear about how Whit Bowman said that she wanted none of this to happen. And finally, the defense will call Whit Bowman herself. And you will hear how Whit Bowman had faith in who she thought was a friend, was ultimately betrayed, and is acting and sitting here as a scapegoat for everything that Cameron Poole is responsible for. And you will hear how Whit Bowman, how it was impossible for Whit Bowman to predict the outcome. It was simply impossible for her to know that the ride was going to hit Winston Thomas. And before me today, you will hear from my co-counsel, Jamie Andrade, and he will review all the evidence today. And it leads to only one person, members of the jury. It's not my client, Whit Bowman, but is in fact the man who is not in the room here today, Cameron Poole. And with that said, you must find Whit Bowman not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. Prosecution ready to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We call Rory Shelton to the stand.
Is Rory Shelton present?
Yes, Your
Please
Honor.
approach. Mr. Shelton, please be seated in the witness chair. Proceed when ready, yes.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Rory Shelton.
Are you currently employed, Mr. Shelton?
Yes, I am.
And what is your current employment?
Well, I'm a dinosaur. Not an actual dinosaur, but I'm a mascot.
And where is your employment?
Lactio.
Did you have any previous employment?
Yes. I actually did work in Rules Rivertown as a dolphin because I'm a mascot everywhere I go.
And may I ask, why did you leave your previous employment?
Well, there were a lot of problems in Rules Rivertown.
And what are these problems that you are referring to?
There were many, but the main one was Cameron Poole.
And were you familiar with Cameron Poole at that time?
Well, yes, I was.
And how are you familiar with him?
Well, he worked as a ticket booth in the Rules Rivertown, and he worked.
Objection, Your Honor. This goes into the, as Cameron Poole is unavailable as a witness today, any statements that would other incriminate Cameron Poole is not allowed according to Rule 404.
Your response?
Your Honor, I was just asking the witness if he's familiar with Cameron Poole, because he used to work with him. So,
I'm going to overrule the objection, but thank you anyway. May I answer the question?
Can you please repeat the question?
and how were you familiar with Cameron Poole?
Well, he worked there in Rules Rivertown, and he gave out tickets, and he was giving out prizes to different kids when they won something. That was his job.
Now, going to your current employment at Rocket World, what is your main job responsibility at Rocket World?
Well, I'm a dinosaur. I'm this fun, flesh-eating dinosaur that just, takes care of everybody. When they want to take a picture with me, when they want to go on a ride, I'm the guy. That's me.
And are you familiar with any of your co-workers there?
Oh, yes, I am. Actually, Whit Bowman and Miss Whit Bowman and Poole working. I wasn't the only transplant from Rivertown, but they were also there.
And moving forward to, if I may, to August 3rd, 2012, are you familiar?
Oh, yes, I am. That's the day of my birthday.
And how were you familiar?
Well, I mean, it was my birthday, but it wasn't a good day. I remember it that I was gonna go tell Mr. Longstreet about what I had heard the day before, because I had seen Mr.
Objection, narrative.
I'll break
Okay, fine, rephrase.
I'll just move on.
Okay, good, thank you.
Now, what, if anything, happened on that day?
Well, I was gonna tell Mr. Longstreet of what I had heard, and then I saw that Poole was inside the building, inside the little house that he goes.
And what, if anything else, happened next?
I was ready to tell him what I had seen, but as I was going in, a kid tucked my tail, and I had to take a picture with him, so I had to come back later.
And did you ever go back to talk to Mr. Longstreet afterwards?
Yeah, I actually did, but then, he was busy again. This time he was with Haley Floyd in the office, and, at that time it was time for my break.
And what, if anything, happened next?
After that, I decided to get off my suit of my dinosaur suit, and I decided to go into some rides because it was just the time that I had free time for me. And I decided to go over to Mr. Bowman's ride that he was overseeing, and that's where I saw Mr.
Objection,
Bowman.
narrative.
I'll break it.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection, yes.
What, if anything, happened after you decided to go on the rides?
I oversaw that Mr. Bowman was giving Mr. Poole what looked like a knife. It was a knife, and I saw him give it to him, and then he said this will treat, we have suffered enough for what he has done, and,
Hearsay. Motion to strike.
So whose statements opposing counsel?
These statements made by QCC Mock Trial.
He's only given information on what happened on that day.
Your Honor, may I be heard? It's still considered hearsay
Your Honor.
out of states, out of court statement.
Your Honor, if I may be heard, I'm not trying to prove the truth of the matter, sir. It's just a sequence of events of what happened.
All right, I'll allow it in for that, but I will limit it if it turns out, and I'll allow that objection be renewed, so. for the rule.
And what, if anything else, happened next?
well, after that, I wasn't really feeling good about this because Poole had to leave already. He was supposed to be gone for the day. So I went back into my suit and just kept out looking for what was going to happen next.
Are you familiar with the day after?
Well, yes, same day.
Objection. Objection. The day after, it's not clear to members of the jury.
Overruled.
Well, the same day I saw that. After that, I saw Mr. Poole running out, and then we went over to the Tunnel of Terror, where we saw that I heard a gunshot, and then when I got there, I saw somebody was shot, and it was scary. And then I saw that Mr. Bowman.
Objection. Yet again, narrative, Your Honor.
I'm going to censure you if you keep objecting. Overruled. No further questions?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Wait, further examination?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shelton.
Good afternoon, Mr. John.
Now, Mr. Shelton, you work for Rockville, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
And you are also the park's mascot, correct?
Oh, yes, I am.
And your name in Rockville is known as Donnie the Dinosaur, correct?
You have to bring that out, didn't you? Yeah. I mean, Yeah, but I want to be called racketeer rapper. That's the thing right there.
And you want to be called. And the person who would promote you to become the rock rapper would be none other than JC Longstreet, correct?
I do not understand the question.
The person, Mr. Shelton, who would help you upgrade from being Donnie the Dinosaur to the rock rapper would be your boss, JC Longstreet, correct?
Not really. I mean, I think it's when you want to get up there, you have to do your own work. So I believe that, you know, in the United States, you start from the bottom and then you keep.
Your Honor, I ask that the witness please answer the question. If you would help me, he's being honest.
You want me to answer the question?
No, I'd ask that you please ask the witness to please answer the question.
Have you? Okay, you know what I'll do? I'll allow you to re-ask the question, and if he doesn't, we'll see where we go. So ask it again, please, clearly.
So, Mr. Shelton, is it Jason Longstreet, the person who would promote you to become the rock director?
What do you mean by promoting to?
From being Donnie the Dinosaur to the rock director, Mr.
Oh
Shelton.
yeah, he owns the park.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton.
No problem.
Now, are you, now moving on to events that occurred on August 30th, 2012. Now, no, is it?
I just started the day one.
And this is, and you have prepared an affidavit today, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And you've had time to go over this with a lawyer, correct? Prior to,
It's on the 4th page.
Your Honor, may I mark it for you? Now, do you recognize this document?
Yes, this is my affidavit.
And is this your signature?
Yes, it is my signature.
And now, if you could read this line right here, 97, August 20th.
August 29th, the day before my birthday. You were asking me about August 30th.
Yes, but you said August 30th was your birthday, Mr. Shelton. Now, moving on August 30th, 2012, isn't it true that you decided to take a break on that day?
On August 30th?
Yes.
Yes, it was my break.
And isn't it true that you wanted to go on one of the rides?
Yes.
And
Objection, Your Honor, relevance,
Your
court
Honor,
rides.
Your Honor, this question will be subject to connections and relevancy.
I'll allow it subject to connection overruled.
Now, well, while you were waiting for the rides, isn't it true that you saw Whit Bowman and Karen Poole standing there?
Oh, yes, I did.
And isn't it true that you supposedly saw Whit Bowman hand over a knife to Karen Poole?
Yes, I'm 99.9%.
But Mr. Shelton, you're not 100% sure, isn't that correct?
That's why I just said 99.9%.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. And then after that, when you decided to go back into your costume, isn't it true that you saw Karen Poole and Jason Longstreet meet eyes?
What do you mean by me?
Objection, Your Honor, vague and relevance meet eyes, Your Honor.
Rephrase.
Okay, I'll move on. And isn't it true that after the events that occurred on August 30, 2012, that you were interviewed by police?
Yes.
And isn't it
The day
true?
of the incident.
Yes. And isn't it true that they asked you about Karen Poole?
Let me
Objection, Your Honor, cause for hearsay.
Your Honor, this is not called for hearsay.
It's a conversation.
I'm going to overrule the objection, but thank you.
So, Mr. Shelton, were you interviewed by police?
Oh, yes, I was.
Okay. And after that, isn't it true that a few weeks after the incident, you saw Karen Poole?
Look, I can't. I'm not sure.
But
I don't want to lie.
you still believed it was Karen Poole, isn't that correct, Mr. Shelton?
Excuse me, can you repeat
You
that?
still believed that that person was Karen Poole, isn't that correct?
Like I said, I think, but I'm not sure. I don't want to lie. Because, you know, I don't wanna
Your
lie.
Honor, time, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor. Your time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Chalmers.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any other witnesses? Any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, prosecution will not call Haley Floyd to stand.
Mr. Floyd, please approach. Be seated. Proceed when ready. Here's your microphone, I think it's ready.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Haley Floyd.
And what is your occupation?
I'm the bookkeeper at Backtown.
Did you have any prior occupation before working at Rockwood?
No, it was my first job after college.
And what is Rockwood?
Backtown is an amusement park where families go on the rides, they have with their kids, take pictures of dinosaurs. It's amazing.
And what did your job entail you to do?
My job consisted of me keeping track of the financial records of the park, seeing where the trends in rides, seeing the trends in sales and stuff like that.
And how was the financial status of the park?
Well, when I first got there, the owner, Mr. Laundry, he had a tacky system. It was horrible. Like you had like some guesstimate system, and like there was no control in that.
Can you explain the guesstimate system?
Well, he would basically he would rely on the ride operators to count how many people will go on the rides, and from that number guess to the next number. So I had to suggest a new system be implemented.
And explain the new system you implemented.
Well, this new system consisted of wristbands. World Tour wristbands or normal wristbands. World Tour is basically like our VIP wristbands, the exclusive rides, take pictures with dinosaurs and things like that.
And since then, how long have you been using the system?
We've been using that system for 3 years now.
And how was the system in 2010?
In 2010 was great. I was seeing the trends in the sales. Normal wristbands and World Tour wristbands were going equally.
Objection, Your Honor. Also, motion to strike on the sales of
Your Honor, this is within the scope of Haley Floyd's job. He's the bookkeeper of the park.
I agree, overruled.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Sorry.
Are you familiar with the financial records in 2011?
Yes, I am.
And how were the records in 2011?
They were also great. The trends were constantly going up and sales were going great.
What, if anything, happened on April with the financial records?
On that month, however, I started realizing the trend that World Tour wristbands, we were selling a lot more normal wristbands than World Tour wristbands.
And following April, May?
That trend continued and I found it pretty weird.
So, what, if anything, did you do after realizing that?
After realizing that, I decided to keep my own tally of the system.
And, who, if anybody, did you go to because of that?
I went to many different ride operators and they would tell me, and their numbers matched my numbers, numbers I counted, so I figured that the problem was in the ticket booth.
So what happened next?
Well, the person working the ticket booth was Mr. Cameron Poole, so I went to discuss it problem.
Are you familiar with August 30, 2012?
I don't want to remember that day.
What, if anything, happened on that day?
Well, Mr. Nashri, the owner, he made me work the ticket booth that day, and I just don't want to remember.
Why did you work the ticket booth that day?
Because I went to him about the problems, and he told me that I should take over.
Hold on, please. Do you need a moment to compose yourself?
It's okay.
Okay, proceed.
What, if anything, did you notice when you worked the ticket booth that day?
Well, at closing, I started seeing the sales, and they were matching the sales that I expected them to be.
And then what happened after that?
Then Mr. Cameron Poole showed up, and he stuck a knife in my face. Shot a knife in my face.
And who was Cameron Poole?
A co-worker there.
What happened after you saw Cameron Poole come to you?
Well, I panicked. He asked for the money, and he had that blue knife, which I seen Bowman had before, and I was terrified. I seen that knife before, and I just gave him the money, and he ran away.
What happened after that?
I saw the security guards chase him, and that's all I knew.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed when ready.
Do I have to use the microphone?
If you can. Well, the thing is, it's for the tape.
Mr. Floyd. So you've been working at October for 3 to 4 years now, right?
That's correct.
And when you first started implementing the system in 2010, it was a perfect system, right?
In 2010?
Yes.
But my system went into it?
Yes, yes.
That is correct.
And so did 2011, right?
The cells were matching, yes, yes.
Now,
But there's no such thing as perfect. It's going to be a flaw in some systems.
so just to clarify, when you said that you found problems during April and May, that was in year 2012, right?
That's correct.
And in 2011, it was Whit Bowman who was operating the ticket book at that time, right?
I believe so.
And that year had a perfect year, right? Nearly perfect.
There's no such thing as perfect.
As perfect as it could be, right?
What's as perfect as could be?
It was really good. There was no, you found no mistakes in the records, right?
I found no mistakes.
And it was in 2012 that you started noticing differences in the sales, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And it was Cameron Poole who was operating the ticket book at that time, right?
Yeah, he was working.
And after noticing differences in the sales, you went to check Cameron's pool output, right? You went to Cameron's pool output to check the stuff, right?
Check the stuff.
Yeah, you went to look into Cameron's pool output.
Can I pull fly?
Yes, Cameron's.
I went to the locker room, yes.
Yes, and you opened Cameron's pool output, right?
Yes, yes, I did.
You found a lot of fake wristbands in his locker, right? And you found nothing in Whit Bowman's locker, right?
I didn't check for both.
You didn't need to, right?
I didn't feel the need.
Yes. And on August 30th, 2012, Mr. Floyd, I know it's hard for you, but when Cameron Poole came up to you that day, do you still remember it?
I don't want to remember that night clearly.
Yes, and you were in shock, am I correct?
I was terrified right after I saw it. Go inside.
You thought it was Whit Bowman's. It looked similar, right?
It had that blue handle and everything.
It had a blue hand. And you, after
Just like her knife I seen during her break.
and after Cameron Poole, right? It was the conversation about the Cameron Poole, right?
Yes.
Did you see Whit Bowman anywhere near the crime scene that day?
He wasn't, I guess he was on the trip or something. Like that.
Yes, he was in the shop.
Yeah, I guess.
So when the detective interviewed you, you also stated that you couldn't believe it was Whit Bowman's knife, right?
What detective?
Detective Kimball.
What interview?
Didn't Detective Kimball interview you after the robbery?
Yeah, but I don't remember what I told him. I was too shocked.
And but you personally, you like Whit Bowman, right?
She was a great worker and all.
Yeah. And you've always been a little bit afraid of Cameron Poole, right?
Afraid? What do you mean afraid?
A little bit scared of him. He had a bad guy feel, as you see.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance?
It goes to show the bias against the
I'll allow the bias overruled.
Matt.
Maybe.
Cameron Poole had a bad guy feel, right?
Yeah,
And you also thought that it could be a possibility that Cameron Poole may have stolen Whit Bowman's knife, right?
What I assumed was the woman gave him it.
No, you also you couldn't believe it was Whit Bowman, so you also thought that Poole might have stolen Whit Bowman's knife, right?
It was a small
Objection, Your Honor,
possibility.
speculation?
I agree, sustained.
And no more further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, wait, proceed. No more witnesses. Do you have any more witnesses?
Your Honor,
Yes?
the prosecution would like to call talent record.
Mr. Harvin? Mrs. Harvin? Please be seated. Here's a microphone for what it's worth.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
I'm Tyler Hartman.
And what is he currently employed in this firm?
Well, I have many jobs. So I
And-
work at anywhere you need to go.
And how are you familiar with Rockville?
I've been going since I was little. My dad used to take me there. Oh my God, it's the best amusement park ever. You should go on it. You should go on all the rides.
Are you familiar with the workers park the rules?
Yeah, I know some people.
And who are you familiar with?
Oh, well, I know Haley Floyd, Poole, Bowman, Officer Winnie.
Are you familiar with the defendant, Whit Bowman?
Oh, Bowman, she used to be so great, not anymore. Well, she used to, let me skip the line to go in first.
Objection, narrative.
Your Honor, the witness is simply explaining how she knew Whit Bowman.
I agree, it's not overruled.
Well, anyways, she would let me skip the line in first, and she was also pretty smart back when she went.
Can you elaborate what you mean by back when she read the ticket?
Well, back then she did, but this year she started working on the rides and the games. Sometimes she would work on the ball testing, and I swear she can make anyone do anything.
Ms. Harmon, are you familiar with the ride mechanics to some of the rides on Rockville Road?
Yeah.
Which one are you familiar with?
Oh, I know emergency protocol, a black umbo, how to turn the rides off and on.
And how are you familiar with those rides? Who, if anyone, taught?
Bowman showed me.
Ms. Hartman, I'm going to direct you to the summer of 2012. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
What if anything happens?
The robbery?
No, before the robbery.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I remember I was trying to talk to Bowman one day, and but he was talking to Poole, and I overheard their conversation.
What if anything did you hear?
Well, I remember Poole was saying how he needed
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, in this case, Cameron Poole is the co-conspirator, and a conversation for Cameron Poole is admissible to any court.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes.
There was no foundation as towards if Cameron Poole was established as the co-conspirator of this case or not.
Your Honor, if I may be heard, there's a case between State v. Owens that explains that as the prosecution will later explain the foundation as to why Cameron Poole is the co-conspirator. In this case, if you give us some leeway, we will explain it as the conversation goes on.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes.
I'm aware of State v. Owens, but it states it's up to the Honor's discretion. And the probative value does not outweigh the prejudicial value in this case if it's highly prejudicial to my client, the defendant, Whit Bowman.
Your Honor, if I may be heard, it will not be highly prejudicial later in the testimony as we'll hear.
Okay. I appreciate all your counsel, and I do appreciate your acknowledgement that I make the ultimate decision. So I thank you for that. But I'm going to allow you to introduce this subject to connection, but in light of the time, you better do it quickly.
Okay, well, Poole was saying how you need more money for rent and for other things, and Bowman said you should ask for a raise, and if Longstreet didn't give you a raise, you should threaten to file a thing to get better working conditions.
Ms. Hartman, what if anything happened days before the robbery?
Well, I was in the bathroom doing some business, and I heard Bowman and Poole walk in.
What if anything happened next?
Well, Poole was, freaking out because Bowman was telling Poole how Haley Floyd, park accountant, must have told Longstreet something because
Objection, double hearsay.
Your Honor, this is just a subject to leeway. If you give me some leeway, I'll explain why.
I don't think you have to explain too much because we're at the end of our questions, but it's overruled. So, sum up.
Ms. Hartman, what if anything did you see in the locker room?
Well, Bowman put a knife in Poole's locker. It was beautiful. It was blue and a bottle cap opener. It was marvelous. Yeah.
Thank you. Gross examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Proceed when ready.
Ms. Hartman, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I would like for you to answer with a yes or no answer if the question calls for a yes or no. Do you understand?
Gotcha.
Ms. Hunter, the day that you were in the bathroom doing your business,
Yes, like everyone should be doing.
where was the bathroom
Order
at?
in the court.
Where was the bathroom at?
In Rock the World,
Was it in the employee locker room? Yes or no?
it was a bathroom in a building.
Was it in the employee locker room? Yes or no?
It was. in
Your Honor,
the
will you please
employee-
direct the witness?
I'm sorry, was there a question there?
I'll
No, I
phrase it.
answered this question.
Were you supposed to be in the employee locker room at that time, Ms. Hartman?
I really had to use the bathroom.
Ms. Hartman, that was not the question.
Well, sir, if you really had to go to the bathroom, and that was the
Ms. Hartman, were you supposed to be in the employee locker room? Yes or no?
I was just using the bathroom. Just past
Ms. Hartman,
Objection, Badger.
Your Honor, if you will instruct the witness to answer my question.
I agree. I think the witness is being evasive. I will instruct the witness to answer the question. Please answer the question with a yes or no answer.
Yes.
Thank you. Answer the
I'm
question
sorry.
now.
Yes, I mean, no.
What-
Wait, what was the question?
Were you supposed to be in the bathroom, in the employee locker room at that time?
No.
Ms. Hartman, isn't it true that you used to be friends with Bowman?
Objection, relevant.
Your Honor, they're supposed to prove bias.
Okay, then I'll allow it for bias.
Well,
Overruled.
she used to be my friend, but then she started, ignoring me.
Why? Wait, isn't it true that she started ignoring you because she started hanging out with Cameron Poole?
I don't know, maybe that could possibly, or maybe she was going through something.
So you were angry at my client, the defendant, Whit Bowman, because she started hanging out with Cameron Poole, yes or no?
I wouldn't say I was angry. I was upset, like.
So you not only decided to spy on them once, but twice, correct?
What do you mean by spying?
You were overhearing the conversation as you stated on your direct.
I wouldn't call that spying.
Did
was
you overhear
in
their
the bathroom
conversation?
stall. I'm a little bit awkward, so I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to say, hi, bye, congratulations, or whatever.
Ms. Hartman,
So,
you said you saw a blue handle knife.
yes.
Are you 100% sure that my client, Whit Bowman, handed that knife to Cameron Poole?
He put it in Poole's locker.
Are you 100% sure?
I'm 95% sure.
You can't be certain, right?
Not 100%,
Thank you, Ms. Hartman.
but 95%.
That'll be all, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Redirect?
No.
Well, a rhetorical question. Okay, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. Are we calling any witnesses on the defense side?
No.
No.
Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution calls, defense calls Jackie Hunter to the stand.
Your Honor, Jackie Hunter is on her way.
That's why that's what
Well,
I'm
if that's the end of your case, then that's the end of your case. Do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense would like to call Charlie Kaminsky to the stand.
Ms. Kaminsky, please be seated.
Thank you.
Proceed when ready, Counselor. Sorry,
Please state your
Mike.
name for the. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Charlie Cheminsky.
And are you currently employed, Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes, I have my own shop. I have my own company. So my company is for a luxury company.
And what does this company do?
It's limousine drive. I'm a limousine driver, so I usually drive customer to anywhere and they want to go.
What are your usual pickups?
My usual pickup is a farmer's lunch right down the street on Charles.
And how far would you normally go for?
Usually I will go 15 miles within the center.
You sound like a busy person.
Yes, I'm really very busy.
What do you do during your free time?
Except working and going to school, so the rest of my time I would like to go to Rochester Walk.
What is Bali?
That is an amusement park.
And have you been to Bali times? Bali for a lot?
Yeah, I went there a lot since I was a child.
And in your recent visits to Bali, have you noticed anything different?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. They, in your recent visits, have you noticed anything different? Your Honor.
Your Honor, she's just stating her opinion.
All right, I mean, I'll allow that question, but I think your objection is well noted, overruled, but counsel, try to hone your questions a little bit more specifically.
Yes.
One day when I was buying the ticket, something strange I feel. The person who worked in the front gate, his name tag is Cameron Poole. He was taking some of the cash to somewhere instead of the register. And then he gave me the wristband from different pile, not from the usual one.
Objection, Your Honor, narrative.
Overruled.
And did you happen to know the person's name?
Yeah, his name tag says Cameron Poole.
And are you familiar with August 30th,
Yes.
2012? Can you please tell the court what happened that day?
That day I was on Rochelle and then I received a message from someone I did not know before and asked me to pick up the client and then he will pay me $300 cash.
And during closing time that day, what if anything happened?
That time it's around like 9 p.m. and then I received the client's message, asked me to go to the grocery store to pick up. And then I went there. On the way to the exit, I saw the person, exactly is the person who worked in the front food ticket gate. And then he was running from he's running toward where I had just left. And someone who is a security guard.
Objection, Your Honor, narrative, once again.
I agree. Please limit your answers to sustained.
And is it usual for you to have customers from October?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Do you usually have customers from October?
Yes, I do. I have been drive the owner Long Street for a few times.
And what happened at the end of that day?
That day, say at the end of that day. That day I was waiting my client, the Cameron Poole. Cameron Poole come to me, and I told him that I was waiting for my client. He told me that he was my client.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I agree, sustained. I'll strike the last part of that answer. Do you have any cross?
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed with the cross, please. Doesn't matter, post haste.
Mr. Kaminsky, I'm going to ask you a serious question. I want you to answer in a yes or no fashion, if it so applies. Do you understand these instructions?
Yes,
Now, Mr. Kaminsky, you're familiar with Rochelle, am I correct?
yes.
And you stated that you've been going there since you were a child?
Yes.
And you own the AAA car and levy service, correct?
Yes.
And it is true that on August 30th, you were at Rochelle Road,
Right.
and you got a text message wanting you to pick up a client.
Correct.
So you stayed around the park just a little while longer afterwards, correct?
Yes.
So, but then you eventually left the park to go pick up the client, correct?
Yep.
And it's true that you went to the grocery store, correct? Grocery store parking lot?
Yes.
And Cameron Poole came up to your vehicle.
Right. It's Cameron Poole.
He wanted you to drive him to the Midlands Marina, is this correct?
Yes.
So and he offered you $300 cash, correct?
Yeah, I drive him. That's why I'm returned.
Thank you. And so you took the money, correct? On the way to the Midlands Marina, you heard a conversation,
Yeah, he was on the speakerphone.
and you said that the person he was talking to sounded like Whit Bowman, correct?
Sounds very familiar, but I'm not really sure because I was in the front driving, so I couldn't pay much attention on the conversation.
And aren't you familiar with Mr. Whit Bowman?
Yeah, I was really familiar.
So wouldn't you know his voice when you heard it?
At that time, I just said that I was driving, so I couldn't 100% sure that.
But you still heard the conversation, correct, between Mr. Poole and Bowman?
I have familiar with when they are talking a little about it, but not really sure.
And what did you hear?
They are talking about.
Objection, Your Honor, QC.
Sustained.
Statement?
Sustained.
On the conversation.
Sustained. You win.
And is it true that he offered you some more cash to not tell anyone about the ride to the Midlands Marina?
Oh, well, I think I'm not supposed to tell anybody about other person's business, right?
So is that a yes or no, Ms. Kaminsky?
I gained the money, so I mean, I'm not supposed to do so. Yeah.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, fine. Could we sit down, please? Has your second witness again arrived in the court?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution would like to call Jackie Hunter to the stand. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ms. Hunter, you look familiar. Please introduce yourself to the courtroom.
I'm Jackie Hunter. I'm an intern at Midlands Voice.
Ms. Hunter, have you ever had any previous occupations?
Oh yes, I worked in Rock the World for 4 summers.
Can you please specify what year you started working at Rock the World?
It was the summer of 2009.
And how was your experience working at Rock the World, Ms. Hunter?
Oh my god, it was terrible. I was part of the cleanup crew for this ride called the Screwdriver. The thing must have been like 80 years old because no one knew how to work the mechanics, and everyone grew up, and I had to clean it out. It was disgusting.
You stated that you started working at Rock the World in 2009. Did you continue to work at Rock the World in the year of 2010?
Yes.
And what was your job description that year?
I was a floating ride operator.
Can
And I
you-
also worked in Haley Floyd's office.
Can you please explain to the jury what a floating ride operator is?
I will fill in for the other ride operators who weren't there, and I got to know a lot of the rides that way.
And in what condition were those rides in?
Again, they were really old, as old as my grandmother. I think the children's rides were like from the 1920s or 30s. It was terrible.
You stated that you worked with Haley Floyd in the park office. Can you please describe the park office?
It was so disorganized. I'm a very organized person, so this bothered me. There were like tickets all over the place, world tour bracelets.
Wait, Ms. Hunter, 1 second. You said world tour bracelets, right? Can you please describe these world tour bracelets?
Well, some of them were numbered sequentially, and some of them weren't.
So, and what year was this?
In 2010.
In 2010. And what year did Whit Bowman start, the defendant Whit Bowman start working at Rock the World?
I believe it was in 2012.
And you stated that the tickets weren't numbered sequentially.
No, they weren't.
So you saw fake bracelets in 2010.
Yes.
Ms. Hunter, you stated that you're a journalist for the Midlands Voice. Can you please describe what you do?
Well, I, do what journalists do and find the truth and, spread the information to the rest of the public.
And have you ever gotten published?
In 2012, like later years, after I got fired.
Can you please explain why you got fired from Rock the World?
Well, I needed to see what was going on in Rock the World, so I decided to go back into the park office. And there I found, several things.
Can you please explain what you found?
Well, I remember I found a box of bracelets which were not numbered and didn't belong to a company that the park usually purchases from.
And this was in J.C. Longstreet's office?
This was in Haley Floyd's office.
You could continue.
And I also found 2 accounting books, and I also found a pile of expensive plumbing invoices, which was weird because I haven't seen any plumbers that summer.
Time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Ready? I mean, cross examine.
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Hunter, you work at The Voice, correct?
That's correct.
So your job entails you to look for stories, correct?
Yes, like any newspaper wants you to.
Okay. And you are familiar with what happened on August 30th?
The robbery?
Yes.
I heard some things, yeah.
You heard some things. But are you aware that Winston Thomas was in a coma?
Oh, that poor man. Yes, I heard. What a shame. He's such a nice man.
And isn't it true that you were not even there in Rockville, August 30, 2012?
Objection, relevance.
Your Honor, this is why we're here on August. The whole event happened on August 30, 2012, the armed robbery.
What does her not being at Roxroad on August 30th has to do with the testimony that she just said?
Your Honor, as a witness, Jackie Hunt is here to testify on behalf of the defendant Whit Bowman about the incident that took place there.
You know something, I'm going to sustain the objection, ask another question.
August 30, 2012, where were you?
Oh, I was just, reloading, just finding stories and whatever.
And how did you hear about what happened in Rockville?
Well, I heard some people from the park talking about it, and I think I heard someone feeling told me, yeah.
So is it true that Jody knew about the incident, but what other people told you about it? Not your first-hand knowledge.
No.
Your Honor, objection beyond the scope. I don't know where opposing counsel is going with this.
Your Honor, subject to connection.
Sustain.
Isn't it true that you stopped working at Rockville Road in 2010?
It was in 2012.
2012. And when in 2012?
In that summer. Well, no, I think it was later.
Well, not August 30, 2012, correct?
I don't think so.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any cross examine?
No, Your Honor.
Right, okay. Any other witnesses? You may step down. Any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to call a final witness to the stand, Whit Bowman.
Great. Whit Bowman, please approach.
And may, Your Honor, allow me to set up the demonstrative.
Yes. Well, it seems that you'll go without it. Unless you can point to it. Can you point to it? From here?
Okay,
Can
I'll
you
just
see the
proceed.
demonstrative from here?
Yes, however.
Fine, thank you. She can see it, you can point to it.
You please state your name on the record.
My name is Whit.
And what is your employment history, Ms. Bowman?
I worked at two parks. I worked at Rose Rivertown and I also worked at Rockville.
And what is Rose Rivertown, Ms. Bowman?
It's a water park.
The thing is, we don't have a microphone for it, Ted.
It's a water park.
And what were your experiences at Rose Rivertown, Ms. Bowman?
Well, it was a small summer job I took with my friend.
And who is Cameron Poole?
Well, he's my old good friend. Well, he was till the day of the incident.
And now let me direct your attention to Rock the World. What is Rock the World?
It's an amusement park.
And who were you employed by?
Basically lunch.
And what were your responsibilities at Rock the World?
I first started working at the theater booth.
Any other responsibilities?
Later on, I took over as a ride operator.
And what, if any, rides are you familiar with, Ms. Bowman?
I'm familiar with hamster wheel, line eraser, and I hate to mention it, but it's one terror ride.
And so you mentioned the Mind Eraser and the Tunnel Terror ride. Can you tell members of the jury about the discrepancies between the two rides?
Well, like the line eraser, it has like a lot more buttons, and it's so complicated to operate.
And now, let me direct your attention to August 30, 2012. What, if anything, happened when you were operating the ride at the time?
Operating.
The Tunnel Terror ride, Ms. Bowman.
Oh, on the night of August 30th, there was a commotion going on. I ended my shift at the Tunnel Terror ride. And next thing you know, I was meeting the next passengers, and then next thing you know, I see Officer Winston Thomas like chasing someone. And I
Objection,
see-
directives.
I'll move on, Your Honor.
Okay, fine.
Now, Ms. Bowman, who, if anyone, approached you after this incident?
The defendant,
And what, if anything, did he say to you?
he took my
Objection,
phone.
hearsay.
Your Honor, no statements have to be made.
Your Honor,
And,
the opposing counsel is calling for a statement.
Yeah, it's about to be made. I'll override.
Will you please continue?
Answer the question.
He took my phone, and then he took me down to the station.
And what, if anything, did you learn after?
I learned that it was Cameron Poole who robbed the ticket booth at knife point.
And now let me ask you some questions from the prosecution's witnesses. Now, you've heard from Tyler Hartman about a knife that you handed over in the employee's locker room. What can you say about this, Ms. Bowman?
Objection, calls for an opinion.
Your Honor, she is an employee who works at Roswell. She knows what had happened during that time and is competent to answer these questions.
Your Honor, I don't see why the defendant here would know what other people are thinking or
Your Honor,
doing.
Ms. Bowman here is sequentially sequestered and therefore can testify as to
Enough. Overruled. Answer.
So, Ms. Bowman?
There was like, so can you repeat the question?
Now, we've heard from Tyler Hartman about her witnessing events of you handing over a knife to Cameron Poole. What can you say about that?
Well, what you say by the bathroom slot, it was like really, really tiny. You could barely scan from it.
And did you hand over a knife to Cameron Poole, Ms. Bowman?
No, I did not.
No further questions at this time.
Thank you. Anything further? Proceed, if you want to use this one on the, it doesn't go very far. But you sort of- Oh, I guess the- If you object, just jump off.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Ms. Bowman, you work at Rockville World, correct?
That is correct.
And your job responsibility at Rockville World is to control some of the rides?
That is what I stated.
And some of the rides you control is the minor racing, correct?
Correct.
That's your primary ride, correct?
Correct.
And the Tunnel of Terror, you control it very often as well, correct?
I haven't learned how to operate every ride as a ride operator.
Right. And your friend Cameron Poole, you said he arrived at Rockville World around 2012?
Yes.
And you noticed that Cameron Poole was stealing money from Rockville World, correct?
Stealing money
He was taking money away from Rockville World without his permission?
with whose permission?
It's simple, Ms. Bowman. Was he taking money away from Rockville World Park or not?
That's his business.
But you knew, correct?
I did.
And you didn't do anything about it?
Well, I thought, he'll snap out.
Ms. Bowman, you're not answering my question. Did you? Just yes or no, did you do something about it?
I didn't have to.
Right, so you didn't.
I didn't have to.
Right. And at the time, as days went by, you saw that he was getting greedier, correct? Correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Was Cameron Poole getting greedier as the time went by?
That's not my business.
Was he? Yes or no?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation. How would the defendant know the mind of Cameron Poole?
Your Honor, as the defendant here will prove that if she didn't see that Cameron Poole was taking money and more money away from Rockville Park.
Yeah, I agree. I must sustain the objection. How would you know if somebody's greedy or not? Getting more greedy. I agree.
Okay.
Sustain.
On August 30th of 2012, what ride were you controlling before the incident?
I'm sorry?
Were you not controlling the minor racer on August 30th?
That's how I started my shift.
Right. And you decided to take control of the Tunnel of Terror because Cameron Poole wasn't supposed to be working there and he wanted to go in, correct?
That is not correct.
Cameron Poole was not supposed to be there on the night of August 30th?
On the night of August 30th,
Yes. Was Cameron Poole supposed to be at Rockville World?
at Rockville World. Can you be more specific?
Was Cameron Poole supposed to be working on August 30th?
Oh, no, he got laid off for the day.
Can you tell us how Cameron Poole got into Rockdale Park?
He applied to work there.
I'm saying, you said he wasn't supposed to be working that night. How did Cameron Poole get in the park? Because you let him in, correct?
It's an amusement park. So
You want to break it?
Yeah, I'll break it.
Okay, fine.
You let Cameron Poole in, correct?
it's an amusement park.
Your Honor, if you allow the witness to answer the question. So, yes,
Gentlemen, please ask her the question and let me hear the response.
Did you let Cameron Poole go inside the Rockdale?
It's an amusement park. It's open for everyone.
The point is, yeah. Did you let him in?
Where?
Into the amusement park. Did you open the door and let him in? I think we have an answer of in the affirmative. Is that sufficient, counsel?
Your Honor, one more question.
Yes.
And isn't it true that on the night of August 30th, the ride that Officer Winston Thomas got hit by, you were controlling it?
That was very unfortunate.
That's not my question. Were you controlling the tunnel of terror?
But he fired a shot.
Your Honor, I'm not. That's not my question. It wasn't your answer.
Were you running the ride? Were you in charge of the ride at that point?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions. Any further, gentlemen? No. You just say no. Thank you. No tickets. Thank you very much.
I believe it's prosecution.
Oh, it's prosecution microphone? Yeah, I use a microphone. I got extra microphones up over there. Fine. You like that one? Or give me that one back.
Your Honor, how much time do we have for closing?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
You have to sum it up quickly.
All right.
Okay? Okay, proceed.
Greed, deception, desperation. That's what Whit Bowman was all about on the night of August 30th. Why? Because Whit Bowman was getting greedier leading to August 30th. She knew that Cameron Poole was stealing money away from Rockdale Park and she didn't do anything about it. So how did she get greedy? She decided to help Cameron Poole to an event that occurred on August 30th. That event led to Officer Winston Thomas get hit by a ride, the Tunnel of Terror ride. That ride hit him in the head, and he's in a coma today. Who was controlling the Tunnel of Terror that night? Whit Bowman. Desperation. She got desperate. She saw that Officer Winston Thomas was going to catch his friend Cameron Poole. And what did she decide to do? She pressed that button, that same button to hurt Officer Winston Thomas so that Officer Winston Thomas wouldn't catch Cameron Poole. Because if he caught Cameron Poole, she was going to go down with him. Now, as the prosecution, we know that we have the burden of proof. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we know your job is not an easy one, and we acknowledge it. But this case is not about what he said or she said. This is about evidence. Evidence that the prosecution provided to you today in this case. And all that evidence proved not other than Whit Bowman being guilty of all 3 charges. Now the defense will try to mislead you and tell you that it was Cameron Poole who stole the money away from Rockdale Park. It was Cameron Poole who led Officer Winston Thomas into the Tunnel of Terror ride that night. But the truth is that not only Cameron Poole does have to be guilty, but also Whit Bowman. And why? Because she aided Cameron Poole. She acted in complicity with Cameron Poole. And in fact, that's the reason why she should be guilty as well. Whit Bowman acted in complicity. What's complicity, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Complicity is helping someone else, aiding someone else to commit a crime. That's exactly what Whit Bowman did that night. We called 3 witnesses to the stand: Tyler Hartman, Haley Floyd, and Rory Shelton, all telling you pure evidence that said that Whit Bowman handed a knife to Cameron Poole, a blue-handled knife. Every witness said that to you. Whit Bowman gave a knife to Cameron Poole, said that he could threaten Haley Floyd. So, which is why, with the evidence that we presented to you, we are confident that you will find the defendant Whit Bowman guilty of all 3 charges.
Thank you. Sit down and have this one. I think this one Yes, proceed.
Reasonable doubt. That is something the prosecution has. That is their burden. But there is, in fact, reasonable doubt. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution have not met their burden. They stated that they provided all these evidence, but the evidence points towards one man, a man that is not in this room. That man is Cameron Poole. They called Haley Floyd to the stand. Their own witness testified that she was suspicious of the theft that was being done to Rocky World theme park. She decided to go into the employee locker room. She opened up a locker and she found fake bracelets. Whose locker was this? It was Cameron Poole. Whit Bowman was nowhere. Whit Bowman, the night of August 30th, 2012, was in fact operating the Tunnel of Terror ride. But, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, put yourself in the defendant Whit Bowman's shoes for a second. She was operating the Tunnel of Terror ride on the night of August 30th. Then, all of a sudden, there was commotion. There were little children screaming. My client, the defendant, Whit Bowman, panicked. She was shocked. There were shots fired in her direction. Wouldn't you be shocked? Wouldn't you be panicked? By pure accident, she pressed the wrong button. She had no idea of the outcome or what was going to happen to Winston Thomas. How could she have known that the car could have hit Winston Thomas, knowing it could have easily struck Cameron Poole also? Now, the defendant, Whit Bowman, had the chance to escape with Cameron Poole, but she did not because she has nothing to hide. She is here before you today testifying. All the evidence, as I said earlier, point towards one man, and that man is not in this room. That man is Cameron Poole. Now, prosecution says that they have proved and that they have provided all the evidence necessary, but they have not. They have not met their burden. There is a huge amount of reasonable doubt which has not been met. Everything points towards one man, toward one woman, and that woman is Cameron Poole. Now, the prosecution has a chance to rebuttal if they have time. But I would like to not pay attention to the words, but to the evidence. And all that evidence points towards Cameron Poole. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. No time for a vote. Thank you. And that closes the presentation of the case. At this point, I will charge the jury with your instructions. At the end of my instructions to you, the jury, you'll be taken by the bailiff for all the time necessary, not to exceed 4 minutes. Not to exceed 2 minutes of deliberations to reach your determination as to guilt or innocence of the parties. In this case, State of Midlands versus Whit Bowman. Under the evidence presented to you in this case, you shall find the defendant, Whit Bowman, not guilty under these instructions unless you believe from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Whit Bowman is guilty of one or more of the following offenses. The first, robbery in the first degree. You will find the defendant, Whit Bowman, guilty of of robbery in the first degree under this instruction only and only if you believe from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt all of the following: that in this county, on or about August 30, 2012, Whit Bowman, acting alone or in complicity, used or threatened the immediate use of physical force upon Haley Floyd with the intent to accomplish the theft and cause physical injury to Haley Floyd, or was armed with a deadly weapon, or used or threatened the immediate use of a dangerous instrument upon Haley Floyd. The next count, robbery in the first, which is count second, you will find the defendant, Whit Bowman, guilty of robbery in the first degree under this instruction if and only if you believe from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt all of the following: that in this county, on or about August 30, 2012, Whit Bowman, acting alone or in complicity, used or threatened the immediate use of physical force upon Winston Thomas with intent to accomplish the theft and cause physical injury to Winston Thomas, or was armed with a deadly weapon. With these instructions, you must listen to the opinions of your fellow jurors. Make up your own minds. Base your verdict on the evidence and only the evidence presented. The verdict must be unanimous. Do not put pressure, and you have up to 2 minutes to reach your decision. Now the clerk will escort you from the room for your deliberations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, please continue.
We're gonna. Yeah, we cut it short. Okay, so we'd like to have some, okay, gentlemen, ladies, can we have just a couple of moments while the jury is deliberating for testimonials? What did mock trial mean to you? In very brief thoughts. Perhaps ladies first, does that mean, would you like to go first? Just stand up, please. And then, ask, everybody here, if like this.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Eileen again. I've been in the Mock Trial Association for going on now 2 years. I'm graduating, going to Queens. But it's been a nice experience altogether. Although it might not seem like it today, we are a family. We still keep in contact with previous members from last year. It's a great experience, not just for people who want to become lawyers, although it's a terrific experience for those who want to, but also for public speaking, because it helped me a lot. Like, I normally talk loud, but some words that come out of my mouth started like murmur, jumble, So it helped me with that a lot. Also, doing the Mock Trial Association, it's acknowledged also when you do internships. It could be whether it's at a bank or a law firm, wherever I go, they know what mock trial is. So it's good to use, it's good to put on your resume as well. And I have to say that mock trial has been, like the basis of me going out there. I've interned at a law firm. I did other internships, and I've used mock trial to get my way into. So it's pretty neat program, association, should I say. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just speak up, but just,
Hello guys, my name is Rory. Mock trial has been an amazing experience for me. This has taken a lot of time. It's like taking an extra 2 classes, but the thing is that it's worth it because we gain so much knowledge and the experience is amazing. Myself, I want to be a lawyer. I will be moving on to John Jay. This is my last year and it's my first time in mock trial. But even if you don't want to be a lawyer, just gaining speech, practices, it helps. It's a little nerve-wracking, but you get over it as time goes by because you have friends that do help you do it, and you have a great staff that does help you do it as well, I will say. I'm pretty grateful to the staff that was here, that helped us. And honestly, if you guys should consider joining because it's a great experience and you won't forget about it. It'll help you in your career and in your life, and you will meet great people. So,
thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Michael. I'm actually a freshman here. This is my first year in mock trial. Mock trial, it's an amazing experience. I looked at it from, when I first came to mock trial, I was like, oh, okay, I guess what we're going to be doing now. But when I really got into it, it changed my whole perspective on what it really meant. It's an amazing experience. As Zamina stated, it will help you with a job interview and an internship. And as Romer stated, it does take a lot of time to work on. You have to build up on this type of stuff. But I'm thankful for the professors that helped me out, Professor Thompson, speech professor. It is a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but you will eventually get used to it, you go over it. And if you're gonna be here next year, I highly recommend that you join this team. Because we, as Amina said, we are like a family. We come together, we help each other out basically. So I would highly recommend that you join this team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bailiff? Bailiff?
The foreman of the jury.
Yes, do we have the decision? Can I see the decision, please?
Yes, please. Come to the decision.
Wait, please.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Your permission?
Please present.
We, the jury, in the trial of the State of Midlands versus Whit Bowman, find the defendant, Whit Bowman, we are unable to reach a unanimous verdict. Your Honor, the jury is a hung jury.
I want them to go back for another 2 minutes.
Can we do it again?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you very much for your service, even though you were unable to come to a decision. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. That concludes the trial.
Interested in joining mock trial next year? I have sheets here, so you can fill out your contact information. This way we will send you emails about our next meeting and when we're going to meet in the beginning of September.